Hola familia, it's Alex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. So as you guys can see from the title of this video, we are going to be doing a palette bingo review on the Colourpop Fade into Hue palette. I purchased this on Black Friday. Asked you guys on an Instagram post if you guys wanted to see a palette bingo review. Unanimously, it was a yes, and I promised you guys that I would. So here I am doing it a little bit late, better late than never. So here we are, and this is what the palette looks like. So I'm going to get into all the details of this. First, we're going to pick out the colors that I'm going to be working with, and as I'm doing my eye look, you guys will be seeing this review or seeing swatches and so on and so forth of this palette. So anyway, let's get on with it, you guys, because I'm getting tongue-tied after a whole 6 hours of Zoom meetings. Yay. All right, you guys know the drill. If you're new to my channel, welcome to the familia. My name is Alejandra. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with a dash of Japan. If that is something that interests you, subscribe, join us. And now without further ado, let's get on with this palette bingo. You guys know how I do it, but just in case you're new, I'm going to go across as I always do, 1 through 30. We're going to pick the 5 shades. So let's start out with the first one, number 6. So that is this pretty purple right here. So that's this one right over here. So I'm going to start the swatching for you guys. That's a really pretty one. I do want to let you guys know about this palette though. All right, let's move on to the next one. 24, 6, 12, 18. Really? 24 is this purple one right over here. Looks like we're going to be doing a purple look today. Next up, 29. All right, this matte blue shade right over here. I should have brought something to wipe myself with. Give me a minute. 4th shade. 17, 12, so this is this one right over here. Purple and blue look, folks. Purple and blue look. Seriously, always my luck. And the last one, 7, okay. 1, which is this pink one right here. So I ended up with 2 mattes and 3 shimmery shades. This is what our color story looks like right over here, you guys. So, out of all these shades right here, we're going to end up with a purple and blue look. That's basically it. All right, so I'm going to start doing my makeup, and I'm going to share with you guys everything that I have been thinking about with this palette, basically. Okay, so the first color I'm going to go with is Lovecraft, which is this matte pinky shade, and I'm just going to concentrate this more here, just as like an accent. So, I'm gonna talk as I do this. You guys can clearly see how powdery this palette is right there. Can you guys see that? It's very, very powdery. You're getting 30 shades. This palette is $34, I think retail price. I ended up paying 20 something with it in the intro of it. It is a rainbow palette. What I do like about this specific palette is the fact that you're getting columns of monochromatic shades. So the upside to this palette is the fact that if you did not like or did not care to own almost the basics of their monochromatic 9-pan palettes, you could have them all here in one palette. Your pinks, your orange, your yellows, your greens, your blues, and your purples. So you have it all here in one if you did not want to buy so many palettes of the same shade. You could just go ahead and this one would do the trick for you. Now with this palette, you are gonna get glitters. I believe there's 4 glitters in this palette. You're getting mattes, you're getting satins, and you're also getting the shimmery metallic-y shades in here. So I basically used almost every single shadow in this palette, with the exception of some yellows and some oranges, but for the most part, I think every other one, I used quite a bit of these. I'm gonna put the blue on the outer V and then blend it in. I will say that I feel like this eyeshadow palette, look at that.
I just ruined my face makeup, man.
This palette in general is super crumbly. You could see that the colors show up. I do love the fact that these shades show up on your eyes. So you don't have to do a lot of building with some of these. But I will say you're getting a ton of fallout. So luckily I'm not going anywhere after this video. I'm just going to take this off. But yeah, some of these shadows you do have to pack on and then blend out the edges, because I kind of was disappointed with some colors because I felt like the color you see on the pan is not what you get on your eyes, specifically and more so with the reds. The deeper reds, I felt like if you sheared them out or like blended them in without packing them in like I'm doing now, I didn't get the red intensity that I wanted. I get more like a pinky red, which kind of disappointed me, and I had to really go pull out a true red for the shadows that I like, the looks that I really wanted a blue or a red look. The glitters are chunky. They're not finely milled, and with the exception of maybe the orange one, I felt like they're all very chunky. So if you don't like glitter, you're going to hate them even more. It seems like this is going to be a trend going forward that is not going to go away anytime soon, unfortunately. So if you don't like glitter in your eye palettes, you might not be buying many in the next year or so. What else do I have to say? I love the fact that there's a lot of lighter shades in here, which brings me to another point is you can see how much powder kick up in there. But what I like is these two rows right here, because it's very difficult to find pastels that I like or that I can use. And what I mean by that is some pastels don't show up on me because their pigmentation isn't as great, and these are really good for pastels. I can see myself grabbing this palette for the lighter shades more so. The one drawback of this palette that I felt was I feel like I needed even more deepening shades. Like this blue is really pretty, but I wanted a deeper shade to really deepen it out. So I always had trouble deepening out my looks with any of the rows. I feel like any of the rows, I always had a hard time deepening out my looks. It was deep, like this is as deep as it'll go, but that's about it. And then I would have to pull something else out to really get it deep, because you could see right here, it's like it is blue, but I wanted a deeper, more sultry or blue. Same thing with the red, and then the yellow, of course, is going to be lighter, and then the purple, same thing. I am going to do the purple right here. This purple is very, very pretty. This one, it is crumbly though. It's very pretty. It's crumbly. A lot of these shadows, for instance, like this purple one right here, I feel like this one right here, this pink one, this one that we got, this one, a lot of these shimmery shades are very crumbly. Dare I say that I feel like because Colourpop is churning out things so quickly, their quality is starting to go down a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I feel like the monochromatic palettes were a lot better, and even before that, their 12 pan palettes were even better quality. I feel like this one was super crumbly. You can really see all the fallout. And it wasn't this bad, I don't feel like, especially with this one. Like, I'm going to have to wet the shadow in order to get the intensity that I want, or I got to really press down hard on it. As much as I like this palette, it's a lot messier than what I remember Colourpop to be. And bear in mind, I haven't been buying much Colourpop, but this one attracted me because of the lighter shadows in here. I felt like I can actually make these work. I don't have many pastels in my collection, but the quality of this one isn't my favorite. If you're going to buy your very first Colourpop palette, I would not recommend this one solely because you're not going to like the quality. You're not going to really get the full effect of what Colourpop can really do, and it's a shame because this is pretty, but my goodness, if you could see my under eyes right now, it is bad. It is bad. I would recommend doing your eyes first, then your face, because this is bad. I'm gonna have to go get something to fluff it away. And the sad part is I am actually tapping off my brush, but it's just so crumbly. And not every shadow, but a lot of these are. You can really tell which ones are gonna be crumbly, and I would highly recommend wetting them. Like, see, this is not good. I should have wet this, but I'm doing this specifically and on purpose so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Glitter glue, some pigment glue, or wet them to avoid all this fallout that is causing this headache that I'm getting as we speak. All right, for the lower lash line, we have the purple and this blue. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do blue and then the purple in the inner corner to match the top part of the eye. So the first one I'm going to grab is this Hot Topic blue one right here and put it on the outer. Again, this is another one where I would recommend wetting it, but since it's on the lower lash line, don't mind the noise outside. If it's not somebody cutting their grass, it's somebody cutting their trees. Our neighbor across the street is chopping down trees right now. And of course, they've been doing this since 8 a.m. and I cannot wait all day to film. So I have no choice but to have you guys hear that. So I'm sorry. Woo! That, since it's so crumbly, it gets in your eyes and I don't like that. That's how you know the shadow is very crumbly, when it gets in your eyes. Holy crap. And then the last shade is this purple one right here. I'm going to put it in the innermost. Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. That one again was crumbly too. So I'm going to just do my lashes and mascara and stuff because they're being super loud and I don't know how much you can hear it. And I do want to, you know, bring it back round circle and give you guys my final thoughts on this palette. So here is our color story, which you see on my eyeballs. Just give me a moment and hopefully they'll be done chipping away at these tree branches. Gotta go figure. Of course, when I'm sitting down, this is when they decide to do this. All right, you guys, I've been waiting now for over 30 minutes for them to finish, and it seems like they're not gonna get it done anytime soon, and I need to take advantage of the daylight that I currently have before it gets dark very soon because, of course, today we had too many Zoom meetings that I didn't get the chance to do this earlier. So let me just do a quick roundup of this palette. This is the look that came out, and I love every look so far that I've come out with this palette. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and tell you guys this is crap. I don't like it. I do like it. I just feel like it could have been better. And not in a bad way. I think that they should improve and I hope they do improve, but I feel like they just churn, and I'm saying they as Colourpop, they're constantly churning out products too fast, too quickly, that their quality is starting to get diminished. It's diminishing, and you can tell that the quality is starting to go down a little bit. So like I mentioned with this one, if you're looking for an eyeshadow palette that had that monochromatic feel and you don't want a bunch of little palettes, this one is perfect because you're getting every single primary color basically, and you're getting them in different finishes. You're getting, the bottom row is completely matte. Then you're getting some glitters, and I know that like some people are not going to like that, but then you're getting these satins, which unfortunately a lot of these satins here are very crumbly, so you have to use them wet or with the glitter glue. As you guys can see, it's very soft on the eyes, like that. This one right here, it was very soft on the eyes, but if I wet it, you could see a little bit more of the sheen that it really has. But I wanted to show it you guys that way so you guys can see how much fallout. The fallout of this is ridiculous. I haven't had a palette that had this much fallout in a long time, but the colors do tend to show up. Now this blue, you see how deep this blue is? I feel like I lost some of it when I blended it up top. And that's what I mean when it comes to this bottom row right here. I feel like I needed more depth. I want more depth to some of my looks. So for instance, when I did a whole blue look and I did a bunch of videos with that during the holiday season, I felt like I wanted something a little bit deeper on the outer V to really bring in the sultry look of it. Same thing went with the reds. I felt like the reds, unless I'm using this bottom row as liners, you're gonna lose a little bit of that deep richness of it. And this one ended up being more of a pinky red instead of a true deep red that I wanted. So there are hits and misses in it, but the misses aren't as bad as other palettes. So I can work with it. I can make this come out to have a beautiful look. I just was expecting the Colourpop quality that I've known for a long time. And this palette just made me realize that their constant churning out of palettes are starting to show in their quality. And that's a shame because this has a lot of potential. I wish it didn't have as much fallout. I wish that I had more depth. I wish that the shimmery shadows weren't as crumbly as they are. Again, I can make it work, and I'm happy I didn't pay the full $34 for it, because if I paid the $34 for it, I would have been annoyed. But because I paid about $22, I think it was, it's not too bad because, you know, I didn't spend too much. And $34 isn't a lot, but for a Colourpop palette, it is a lot. So $20, I got all 30 shadows. I will get use out of it. I feel like these top 2 rows are going to be my favorite during the spring season because they're more pastels, and I love that. I want more pastels in my collection. And these do show up just with a little bit more of elbow work, and that's okay with me, but I wanted to be honest with you guys if you were interested in them. You do get the names of the shadows in the back as well. There is no mirror to this, which is perfectly fine, and I believe this is also magnetic, so you can pop out those glittery shades. And the one main thing I forgot to mention to you guys, this is one of 2 palettes that Colourpop has ever come out with square pans. Juvia's Place just did that recently with their Wahala 2 palette, their very first square pan palette, and now Colourpop seems to throw in some square pan. So this is not your typical round shadows either. So if that's something that's throwing you guys off, that might be the reason why, because I know a lot of you guys said that you don't know why Juvia's Place did it, and now Colourpop is doing it as well. So I don't know what the deal is with the square circle pans. For me, it doesn't matter either way, so long as there's not some weird shape out there that I can't put in a Z palette if I do pop these out. So that's my overview thoughts on it. You will see this palette again because I have been using this as a companion palette throughout since I purchased it in November. I have been pulling this out as a companion palette whenever I want a color, some sort of color to go with either my Pan Those eyeshadows or with my look in general. When I want something, this is the palette I've been pulling out because it's rather easy to use. It's just the fallout. So I know that I can get use out of this, and it wasn't a waste of my money. Even though you guys probably think I actually have a million rainbow palettes. I do, but I wanted this one because this is one of the first ones from Colourpop like this, and I wanted to try it out to see how it was. So that's my thoughts, you guys. I will link this down below. I did check it out today. It is still sold out. You guys know how Colourpop is. They rarely restock anything, and I don't know when they're going to restock this one. If they're going to restock it, find a coupon code, you guys, because I would highly recommend if you're going to purchase that, get it with a coupon code. Don't pay the full price, please. All right, you guys, that's it. I guess this is it for this eye look because I cannot film any more today. Thanks a lot. Now I gotta film tomorrow with my next video because it seems like they are not stopping. I didn't think that they were cutting down that many trees. So anyway, I'll catch you guys in these videos right over here. Until then, bye guys.